So, Reggie, why is the authorship of the book of Ephesians so important if the doctrine is true?
Well, Rob, it wouldn't matter if it didn't claim to come from Paul. You know, the church accepted Hebrews without knowing who wrote it. A lot of people thought Paul did, but in fact, we don't really know. And we accept it because what it says is just so compelling and powerful and true. In the case of Paul's letters, they come with his personal imprimatur. They say, "Believe this, because I, the apostle, delegate of God, have said this stuff." And it's conceivable that the truth would be true, whether he was lying about writing it or not. But you have a huge ethical problem, and for a long time, scholars kind of were trying to give these letters like Ephesians a pass and say, well, everybody understood that the Holy Spirit's voice was what was really important and the human vessel wasn't that important. And everybody knew that this was just a literary device that somebody would use to honor somebody before them. But the more that we've looked at ancient literature, the more we've seen that that dog just ain't going to hunt. There was a tremendous concern for intellectual property in Paul's day, and people, especially when it came to letter writing, there were all kinds of ways that people would ensure that that they weren't misrepresented in writing, like they would, and Paul shows. Paul does that himself, like in Galatians, where he says, "We'll see with what big hands, with what big letters I write," as he closes the letter to certify that even if he had used an amanuensis for the text of the letter, that it was his. And the more recent scholars who dispute Paul's authorship they're just more honest. They say whoever wrote this was involved in a propaganda war, and they employed the noble lie, sort of like, you know, the executive who tells his secretary, "Tell them I'm not in, even when I am in, because I have more important things to do." And honestly, that's the choice. Either because the letter claims to be by Paul, it really is Paul, or it's somebody who is disingenuously, dishonestly manipulating people into thinking that it's Paul. So there's a rather large choice here.